Well, first up, some news coming in from Uttar Pradesh. Barely a week after BJP leader Vijay Pandit was shot dead in Dadri in Greater Noida, another BJP leader from Uttar Pradesh has been killed. Om Veer was shot dead in Muzaffarnagar. The murder took place in Mirapur area, where the 40-year-old was shot dead by two gunmen on motorcycle. Om Veer was the deputy leader of the BJP unit in the village. He's in fact the second BJP leader after Vijay Pandit to have been shot in less than a week in Uttar Pradesh. Pandit was shot dead on 7th of June in Greater Noida, sparking a lot of violence. Amir Haq is joining us on the phone line right now with the very latest. Amir, what more can you tell us about this murder?
Well, Ruchika, clearly, things are going from bad to worse for the UP government here, and around the same time when the Chief Minister here is in a meeting with the commissioners, district magistrates, SSPs, DIGs and IGs, the entire police paraphernalia here in Lucknow, around the same time this sensational murder happens in Muzaffarnagar. And remember, this is the second in line after the Greater Noida incident in which another BJP leader was killed. Right now, as far as the district police officials are concerned, they are not even confirming that this person, Om Veer, was actually from the BJP, that he actually belonged to the party. But yes, the BJP workers over there and the local leaders have confirmed that he was the vice president, district vice president of the BJP in Muzaffarnagar. Right now, the police is also suggesting that it could also be a result of personal enmity, and it may not directly relate to Om Veer's allegiance with the BJP. So right now, things not very clear. We'll get to know the police's part around from 1 hour from now, and perhaps then it will be clear as to what line of investigation is the police trying to take.
All right, Amir, I want you to stay on with us. We have some reactions coming in fact, from Muzaffarnagar. Here's what one BJP leader had to say after this incident came to light. A murder in Muzaffarnagar of a BJP leader who was shot dead. Listen in.
मीरापुर नगर उपाध्यक्ष श्री ओम वीर सिंह फौजी जी, आज इनका 8 मिनट मर्डर हुआ है जी, जिसकी हम बहुत शब्दों में निंदा करते हैं और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी से कोशिश करते हैं कि अपील करते हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी मुजरिम को पकड़ा जाए और सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
ओम वीर सन ऑफ शोभाराम नाम का व्यक्ति है। ये फौज से रिटायर्ड सिपाही है और मीरापुर में फाइनेंस का काम, मनी लेंडिंग का काम करता है। ये प्रतिदिन मीरापुर से अपने गांव जाता है सुबह 7 बजे करीब। आज भी ये वहाँ मॉर्निंग 7 बजे करीब ये जा रहा था अपने मीरापुर निवास से अपने गांव में। तो भूमा पुल के पास 2 अज्ञात बदमाश घात लगाए बैठे थे, जिन्होंने इसके पीछे से इसके ऊपर फायर किया। तब एक्सचेंज ऑफ फायर हुआ, जिसमें इसकी रिवॉल्वर छीन के बदमाश ने इसको गोलियां मारी और इसकी वहाँ डेथ हो गई।
सर, जैसे बताया जा रहा है कि कोई बीजेपी के नेता वगैरह है, उसमें क्या मामला है कि बीजेपी के नेता है?
थाने के रिकॉर्ड में इसका कोई पदाधिकारी होने का या किसी और तरह का कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं है और ना ही तहरीर में इस तरह की कोई बात लिखी गई है।
All right, Amir Haq still with us from Lucknow, tracking all the developments. Interesting to note here, the SP crime of Muzaffarnagar said that there has been in the complaint that has been registered, there has been no mention of his political affiliations. But we just heard from another BJP leader whose comment we just played out, who mentioned that this person in fact was the vice president of this unit of BJP in Muzaffarnagar. I believe we have BJP leader Nalin Kohli now join us on the phone line. Mr. Kohli, could you confirm to us right now about this leader in question in Muzaffarnagar who's been shot dead? Did he belong to the BJP? Because the SP crime refused to comment on that matter.
Confirm immediately, because I'm also just receiving the news. But irrespective whether he belongs to the BJP or he doesn't belong to the BJP, anybody being shot dead in broad daylight is just a confirmation of the fact that Uttar Pradesh is becoming a Gunda Raj, and that the law and order situation there has collapsed completely.
Right, so what would you demand? Because we had seen in the case of one of your leader, Vijay Pandit, who was shot dead in Dadri over the weekend, there was a lot of chaos. It sparked a lot of violence, angry protests from BJP workers. What do you demand from the state government at this stage?
The first demand is for every citizen of Uttar Pradesh, and that is that the police should be able to apprehend whoever the culprits are. And what we need is a clear directive from the Chief Minister and his family members that law and order in Uttar Pradesh has to be strengthened, and anyone who's breaking it has to be immediately dealt with firmly. Because at the end of the day, the message that's going from the political leadership of the Samajwadi Party is that they are loose or they are not so bothered about the law and order situation. And somehow there is this message that their cadre can get away with anything. We saw this first in the Durga Nagpal case when she took on the sand mafia, and you had local Samajwadi Party leaders congratulating and taking credit for that suspension. You've seen Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav justifying rape and saying boys will be boys, and you can't have the death sentence for rape convicts. You've seen Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, that he has been very callous in his attitude every time questions came up on the Badayu rape. His wife Dimple Yadav, who's also a member of parliament, hasn't even spoken once on any of these issues. Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav's nephew is the Lok Sabha member of Badayu. And every day with Badayu, you get a new story that in terms of either pressure or things like that. And rapes and molestations continue. Coupled with this are the murders and the daylight murders that are taking place of BJP leader Vijay Pandit. And now today that we are hearing of this murder too.
Mr. Kohli, BSP Chief Mayawati has demanded that President's rule must be imposed in Uttar Pradesh, keeping in mind the law and order situation. What is the BJP stand? Do you think the situation is ripe for President's rule?
Well, this is a serious question. And of course, the Home Ministry will be monitoring this. Because if you will be aware, even in the Badayu rape case, whether it is also in the murder of Vijay Pandit, reports are being sought. And then, of course, there is a governor there that sends a report on a regular basis to the Home Ministry. Let us see how it evolves. But what we first expect is that the elected representatives and the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh must crack down fast, without fear and without favor. That's the kind of message that the citizens of Uttar Pradesh require. And it's not happening. Uttar Pradesh seems to be some kind of a strange, if I may call it, example of a Gunda Raj. I mean, we have seen also Samajwadi Party MLAs riding horses and firing in the air to celebrate their victory. But this is the message that's going is that the Uttar Pradesh government is not serious about law and order, and in some senses is almost responsible for the full lawlessness in the state.
Right, as we speak, Mr. Kohli, Akhilesh Yadav is holding a review meeting today in Lucknow, meeting to review the law and order situation in the state in the light of these incidents, some of which you just mentioned. The steps that the state government has taken, there have been a lot of reshuffle as far as administrative postings are concerned. Do you think the steps that have been taken so far have been grossly inadequate?
Starting point is clear directive from the political leadership. And what we've been seeing happening from Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, Mr. Akhilesh Yadav and the other members of the extended Yadav family, which is ruling the Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh, is clearly one that does not inspire confidence that they will crack down on the anti-social and criminal elements of Uttar Pradesh. The message is that they seem to be soft towards these elements. And that is the starting point. Only then can we expect the police to really do their job. And certainly, the police, which is in short in terms of the total number of seats, there's a shortage of police or men in Uttar Pradesh. They can't be sent on wild goose chases to look for buffaloes of ministers. They should be focused on arresting criminals.
Nalin Kohli, BJP leader, thank you very much for joining us. So the BJP saying the latest incident once again reflects the poor law and order condition in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Amir Haq, my colleague, still with us from Lucknow. Amir, recently the state government had suspended series of police officials. It had transferred more than 100 DMs and superintendents of police. So a massive bureaucratic and police reshuffle that we have seen, but that certainly hasn't ceased criticism from political quarters.
Well, definitely, Ruchika. The Chief Minister here is trying to be well-intentioned. Over the last 15 days or so, he has taken many steps. In fact, not just suspensions, but over 100 transfers of IAS and IPS officers. He's also, given out a very strict, very clear message to the bureaucracy that they'll have to fall in line with the government, and that corruption will not be tolerated. But the point is that political patronage to criminals on the ground and the way the grip on the law and order machinery has been lost over the last 2.5 years or so. Things don't seem to be falling back in line the way Akhilesh Yadav has imagined in the last few weeks. So definitely today's meeting is again very, very crucial in terms of maintaining the law and order in the state. But it still remains to be seen whether the officers really take it seriously and policing on the ground finally improves.
Well, Akhilesh Yadav, as we speak, is holding a meeting to review law and order situation in the state of Uttar Pradesh, as Amir just mentioned. But in the midst of this, the report coming in just now of a BJP leader being shot dead in Muzaffarnagar. Thank you very much for joining us, Amir, with all those details.